So it's 3 o'clock, so officially now it's the time to start. Welcome everybody on this online webinar. As THLG, we have the honor of hosting Miss Christina Dimatati today from Chubb. She's the HR manager for the company here in Greece. I'm really happy that she agreed to join us today. And I'm sure that we will find a lot of useful information, and feel free to ask questions during the session. So this is going to be an interactive session. Feel free to ask whatever you think that you need further explanation or any kind of question you might have. So it's time to start. The plan is that we keep it on 45 minutes of general information and then a 15 minutes question period at the end of the session. So Christina, the audience is all yours.
Thank you for the invitation. Thank you, Elsa, for reaching out to me, and thank you for your time. And all of you, while we're waiting probably to join some others in this 1 hour, that you're going to have the patience to listen some thoughts and some insights after these 20 years of experience that I may have in leadership positions in HR, in different functions, in different areas, and multicultural companies, private-owned companies, all type of these structures and forms. Yes, I would like to emphasize the fact that you should feel free to type either your question or just openly discuss whatever you wish. I hate monologues. I love discussions. I'm a good listener. Today, I won't be a listener, unfortunately. I have to present, but the key issue today is to share some thoughts. We had a quick chat with Elizabeth. What would be beneficial or interesting to discuss all together? We started with leadership, for which, in my perspective, with the positions that you have and the accountabilities that you have every day and the responsibilities that you have to execute, the most important thing is to discuss about leadership and how we can inspire our people, make them thrive in this new challenging area that we're living. Still, there was some operational and always queries about how to find people, what's the new era, how's about all that. That's why, after discussing this with Elizabeth, it was 7 minutes altogether. Probably we were both of us too quick to understand. I would like to structure today's discussion in 3 areas. The first area would be the new era that is completely challenging, and we understand all together how it's all around the world today. How leaders can make an impact, and definitely some hints and tips about what we can do with our people. Sometimes I talk a little bit fast. If you would like to pace down, please feel free. But I'm so anxious to share the most possible of what I have prepared, and definitely I make the most out of it. During the presentation, I'm going to share definitely facts with you, because the most important thing is discuss upon facts and then get these insights and see how it's moving forward. All of us have a leadership vision as CHROs, Chief Human Resources Officers, but definitely CEOs. In many companies, the CEO or the president has 2 or 3 or 4 hats all together, and definitely the HR hat is sometimes on him as well. What is changing and what we're experiencing at the moment is definitely a post-COVID era that, for example, today, the good thing is that we can be all together, because after post-COVID, all the web-based meetings and be all together around the globe and discussing or meeting or having seminars or webinars has become very easy after all this technological upscaling. However, on the other hand, we have amid economic uncertainties. We have two wars at the moment that we're experiencing in Europe area, and definitely everybody discusses about AI technology on the one hand, and many professors that are definitely worried how they're going to be the new era for human beings in this AI environment. And on the other hand, everyone discusses about scarce skills. nobody can find talent, we cannot find people, we cannot find humans to just undertake some responsibilities and accountabilities to move forward. So how we're going to move and which are our challenges and what we can do to build on the skills and capabilities of people and finds of people to be successful. Questions? Complete silence. Okay. Let's talk about, give more insights and some numbers on this. We have a triple squeeze at the moment. See, 90% of CEOs expect inflation, and also the 33 of CFOs, that is, the right hand of every CEO, that we see increasing the employee pay. And this happening in all the professions. We cannot see, we cannot depict any profession or human being that doesn't see that the compensation is going to increase. The second thing is that we have scarce, expensive talent. 50% of our HR leaders expect increased talent competition, and we experience that in every area and every function. 46 of HR leaders anticipate attrition because, on the other hand, due to the fact that pay has increasing and keeps increasing, people find it very difficult to change jobs. Because there is a competition, and the war of talent, and I would say, is the word of hourly wage. And you fight for talent, and you see people not in our way, in our age or in our generation, let's say, that I assume we're very closely in this group, that I see your faces in this the same gen. But the next generation, Gen Z, I don't think that they're going to stay in their job more than 24 months, and I count it into months and not years, because when I was moving into jobs, people were experiencing, and some CEOs were asking me, "Oh, Christina, you changed in 3 years." And it was something that it was very, very unique. In 3 years, I didn't stay that much in one of my roles. The third thing, let's move on, is that you experience that, you know this better than me. We have global supply constraints. 48 of CEOs or procurement or operational leaders see this volatility in the shortage that we have in the global supply. Any questions, any disagreements, or if you agree, let's vote.
I have a question here. I have a question here.
Yes.
So you mentioned that the new generation, if I understood it right, is preferring or taking an option to change jobs more frequently, right? So my question is belonging to the older generations, unfortunately, would be, is that considered like a disadvantage then when people stay longer in a company? Because, for example, speaking for myself, I have people in my company for over 30 years. And I bet that, yeah,
This is a fantastic question. This is a fantastic question because as you and the rest of that we are in this call, we have to build an environment, a culture that we make this generation Z, to stay in our companies, to stay in our environments. And this is the challenges for all of us, to find the new ways to make our environments appealing, so as for this generation that is different from us and in search of other things, should find this in our environment so as to stay. And has I answered your question?
Yes, if I get it right. In other words, generation Zen dash Z, that you do need to create a more appealing environment for people to stay, whereas the older generations might have a deeper sense of commitment, and they do not seek so often to change, if I get it right.
Yeah, definitely is not a disadvantage. And it's our challenge, and I would say our challenge is to mentor those this generation. This is what I'm doing, and that's what I'm currently doing in my role at the moment. We are mentoring people that are from 22 to even to 30 years old, to understand what's important for them to develop, how they should grow, that changes don't help because you lose time in between new positions and new roles. And the most important thing is to deep dive in your job role, to understand the essence of what you have to deliver every day, and be more accountable. This is the way that you deliver more insightful job in the end of the day. Switching doesn't help, but if the environment is so competitive and we have war of talent, there are many employers that they're offering, counter-offering wages, salaries. So this doesn't make it difficult.
May I ask, Christina, but is this something that can lower the skills and the knowledge? I mean, because, for example, in our business in the project cargo, there is really we are daily learning, even after 30 years of work, and before having somebody quite autonomous into the company takes years sometimes. And if you are switching from company to company, well, I might fear that the level of knowledge, doesn't
Exactly.
grow. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a very good point, and this is the pain point that you face when you onboard or you get continuously new people. But one of the issues that I'm gonna pinpoint in the next slides is the fact that the more we skill and develop and grow the people that we have in our environment, the more that we invest in the mid-senior level of managers, the better we're gonna hit this attrition, we're gonna hit this war of talent, and we're gonna keep our people committed, because they see themselves, they're gonna see themselves growing, and they're gonna feel more committed because the employer, I wouldn't say like the employer, their leader is gonna invest in their growth and development. So we are growing together as one. Okay. Thank you. Hope that helped.
Yep. Thanks.
Okay, some more insights, but I understand that I don't have to convince you, is that the workforce is increasingly a high priority for all of us, CEOs, leaders, CFOs, HRs, everyone. But what is the most important thing, as you see from this graph, that is from Gartner. Gartner is one of the top companies that shares the talent metrics all around the world, is that workforce is a top priority. We don't focus now more in growth. We're gonna less in growth. We have invested a lot during tech, and this was due to the era that we lived in between 2020 and 2023, which was during COVID, that everyone stood and had to invest in technology. But now this hasn't been like so fast. We can move slower. We have done a lot in this area. And then you see, we should couple it with our environment, that we have to invest in the environment, in our services. What we're gonna deal here, services and sales is not our discussion today, but workforce and environment definitely is our discussion today. So let's see what the Generation Z is looking for. Generation Z, as I always keep saying. Okay, the new generation and people, not only the generation, but people after COVID and what they have experienced, because this this pandemic was definitely something that all human beings did a reflection back and try to understand what's happening and what is the issue of being in this world and what we're gonna do next day. So the shift has been to four main areas. People, for example, 52% of employees need flexible working and flexible work policies. I could definitely remember myself, because I was in the marble function when the marble industry, when the pandemic expanded all over the world. We could offer flexibility for people that were in the offices, but we definitely couldn't offer flexibility or flexible or remote or other policies for people that were in the industry, in the factories. So in that period of time, from 20 to 24, we were experiencing the fact of, was it equal? Was it unequal? What we should do? What is the best practice? Because all of the companies now, and your companies as well, but definitely we have blue collar and white collar. What is the ethical way and what is the new way that we should move, counterbalancing this benefit that we give to clerk, to blue collars, and this to white collars, apologies, and this benefit that we're not able to give it to the blue collars. The second thing that the new generation and the new employee the expectations for employees is well-being, more focus on well-being. The first thing that I am more than 20 years in the market, and I keep having interviewees even in my role, and I keep having the last interview for every person that's going to join the company. The first question that they ask me is, what do you offer for well-being? What services do you have? What social clubs do you have? Which are your benefits? Do you have a medical scheme? Do you offer dance clubs? I don't know. Do you offer meditation? So these are the first questions that I'm getting when I'm having the last interview in terms of what kind of employer I am. Third area is shared purpose. And this is something that we should definitely focus, and there are many researches on this. Nowadays, people, they search for an employer that focuses a lot and invests a lot in CSR, corporate social responsibility. And this is because the equation leads to the shared purpose. We have seen, and that's why now we don't just do things as employers in terms of donating to an institution or doing something, for example, for people with disabilities. Most of our initiatives that we're doing in the companies is initiatives that the employer proves to the community that he sees the employer is supportive. Because the employees need to understand that the employer doesn't always and not only cares about financial success, but the success of the people, of the community, of the geographical area that the employer is located. That's why we see a switch to CSR and completely switch for employers to more CSR initiatives, which should be targeted to a completely shared purpose, but not only this, to a true purpose. This is not doing things, just doing and sharing a report end of the month, end of the year, that X company did this for people with disabilities, for the community, for schools, for everything. Initiatives that have a true purpose and they can speak in the heart of our employees. And the four new window and different challenge that we have in our employee competitions is that we need to have personalized connection with our people. 82 of employees say it's important to see them as a person, not as an FTE, a full-time equivalent. We need to know their names. We need to mention them with their names, with their nicknames, if it's possible, because they need to feel and they want to feel that they're in the equation of the value chain. They are the ones that help the employer for the success in the end of the day. And they want to feel it like a person, not just a number. I understand that we may end up with 4-digit or 5-digit employees, FTEs in our companies, but this is something that starts from the leader and goes down up to the end of employee. That's why all the bottlenecks, everyone in every company that have joined, and this has come from the research, but this is coupled from my experience as well. The bottleneck is middle leadership. Early managers, aspiring managers, team leaders, that we want to develop them more so as to have these practices to the last one employee that we have and doing just a very simple task. Questions?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Maybe this is not gonna sound nice, but I'm still gonna ask it. So I think that nowadays, as you said, we focus a lot on what kind of an employer we are. So it's more like the focus is on the companies and what more the company or the employer can offer. Whereas I believe that there is a decrease, it's not an equal focus on what kind of an employee are you that I'm trying to hire. So I fear that in an era that education is getting higher and people get more and more diplomas and more high education and everything, I fear that service levels diminish. And why is that? Because that's what I mean with that. That it's so much, there's so much anxiety on what kind of an employer am I going to work for? Like, do they offer this and that and this and that and this and that? Whereas there's no equal focus on what type of skills do you have apart of your educational, of your degree, of your whatever skills you have from a university or a high education or whatever. So because in the business making, we know very well that it's not just about getting a degree. You also need to have other skills, like communication, for example, or how easy are you to work with, or how inventive are you when you have a problem-solving case. So other things that an employer cannot count during an interview. I mean, and maybe some companies can, but let's not focus on the really big organizations that they have HQ departments and executives and professionals taking care of all that. But middle-sized companies do not have these means. They do not have neither the money to invest in, nor the time or the knowledge on how to measure and find out if these skills are available to the candidate that they are interviewing. So me personally, as an employer, I'm a bit challenged in between these two. Like, we're trying to prove that, yeah, we're a good company. We're going to pay you on time. You're going to have a good environment. You're friendly. I'm going to call you by your nickname, as we said. But where is your part of the contribution here? So, as I said, maybe it doesn't sound very nice, but let's speak from that side one moment.
Well, I don't know if you have other skills, but it was my slide, the next slide, about the trade-offs.
Christina, may I come back to the previous slide
Yes.
a bit, because I would like to know your opinion or the trends about the flexibility, giving the workers or the employees the possibilities to work remotely, because we are now living in a post-COVID era, so it's not necessarily because of virus we need to work from home, but at least in our country it has become like mandatory things for the new employees, that they like the flexibility so much that they even demand that they have a couple of 2-3 days that they are allowed to work from home. So what is the trend now, like from your point of view? Are we moving towards a complete like flexibility era, or is it more like I have heard from somewhere that, for example, the big companies in the United States, they are moving out from the flexibility because, of course, it has also it down side of it, like the communication might fail a bit and so on and so forth. So this would be interesting to learn more about. Maybe that comes later.
No worries. I'm sharing the one of the next slides. Thank you for trusting my opinion. What I always say, because as a as I have said already, I come from different backgrounds and I have worked with different companies in different functions, from heavy industries to services and telecoms. Personally, what you should do in terms of flexible working or remote policies or giving like flexibility in general, well, maybe it's going to be flexible shift, I don't know. You have to do the analysis on your environment, first of all. What do you need? How you can deliver. You are the CEO, you are the employer, you are the one that envisions how you're going to move forward in the next era. You know the maths and the financials of your company. So you have to do a context analysis, what it works and what it doesn't work. My personal opinion, I'm not a fan of remote working, definitely. I'm completely fan of the office because, as I said with this slide, I come from an era that connectedness and culture was built by osmosis. Osmosis is a Greek word that means that with our breath, we couple our breaths and we hug each other, so we bring an osmosis and we bring a new culture. The new trend is a hybrid shift to go to connectedness by intention. So we want to connect. We want to diffuse a culture through our work. We want to be one all together. And there are many policies and initiatives that you can do so as to succeed in this. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. On the other hand, I'm in the tech sector, and I struggle with remote working at the moment. I struggle because everyone, the first thing, I just delivered my rejection rates, how many candidates don't want to join the company due to not offering remote working. It's 46%. And on top of that, I have a 40% that just replies to my LinkedIn message because we're doing headhunting, we're approaching candidates. They don't want even to discuss if we don't offer remote policy. I don't care. Personally, I don't care. I will fight more and I will try to find those people that want to come to the office, because this is what, as a company, we have assessed at the moment that it's important for us. I may offer more flexibility. I may switch to a model, for example, 1 week during a month, all week to be in the office, and then 3 weeks we may be outside the office, because I have some also geographical challenges. I need to bring people outside from our city. That's maybe 5 hours drive, 7 hours drive. That's why I always say that your strategy depends on your pool of candidates, on your functions, and what we can do. Another challenge that I had, as I said, I was in the vegan industry, food industry, vegan, 3 years ago, and it was just after COVID, and there was a battle between the offices wanted flexible working, but the workers didn't have flexible working. So we had to see how we're going to move forward. And we had huge discussions, endless discussions. We succeeded in that. We offered the office workers flexible working, remote policy, a hybrid, 2 days at home, 1 day at home, 3 or 4 days in the office. And we gave travel commuting expense to the workers, because they were saying that, okay, I come to work every day. You don't offer, for example, a shuttle bus. What we can do? And we tried to do our trade-off, and we gave just a stimulus with some expense, fuel expense, to come in the to come in the industry for the workers, because we had a mingle of employees. This is my view. You have to assess, you have to see your culture, and definitely you have to understand how your company is going to be successful. I'm not a fan of remote or no remote. There is no black and white. And there is, as we say, there no size fits all. You have to be innovative. You have to be creative. You have to see, and the most important thing in the end of the day is how you sell it. how you sell it to your employees, how you communicate. And what I would focus in the other slides, what is the most important thing for me, to have a transparent communication policy. Be transparent with your people. Go and say, I cannot afford at the moment a remote policy. I want you every day here for 1 month, 3 months, 1 year. Or I can afford it up to 1 day. And this is what I can do for you. And I do it with all my heart. And definitely now employees need 1 day to be at home because they have been used to it. But we need to diminish it moving forward. Moving forward.
So just back on, yeah, still continue on the flexibility. So for all Gen Zs and in the post period, that's what they're looking for. They're looking only for flexibility, for instance. That's their number one thing, remote working and such.
But the other thing that I can build on this is we have this phenomenon of this new generation and because we were get used to it after COVID. You know, people, they're in their comfort zone. We were in comfort zone during COVID, and we need some time to be out of our comfort zone to be in the real life again. What is important also to have in mind is that I have many people around 40s and 35s that they want to return in the office, that having been 7 years, 8 years remote working for this generation, this is one generation back, 35s, they want to return back because they have depression, because they don't, because they cannot connect with people, they don't mingle with people, and have their social skills have dropped down. There is the other, about a slight, this is not like a huge percentage of employees, but there are this also pool of employees that want to return to the office because they cannot stand anymore alone at home. As an employer, there are some tricks that you can do to bring your employees back. For example, we have, for example, social clubs. We started having social clubs. So we say every Tuesday, we have the basketball team that plays every Tuesday. We support the team, we book a court. So we have managed that only Tuesdays, people come in the office because after that, the male employees go to the basketball. And most of them are in the office. You may have on Wednesdays, other days that they don't prefer. Wednesday is a day that most people don't want to come to the office. It's the middle of the week and they want, to get like a half an hour sleep more, let's say, at least for services. Every Wednesday, we have a yoga club. And this yoga club is during their break, 2:00. And why do we did that? Because we saw our statistics, and which was the worst day the worst day in terms of people coming in the office, and we would tried to have an initiative so as to bring back people in the office. Every Thursday we have in the morning all hands meeting. This means that all the leaders speak, and leaders see if their groups are in the company, and we bring them in the office. So you have to be a little bit creative and innovative and find ways to bring them or make the, if you have such a pain point, I mean, people don't want to return back. And I understand Marianne is more interested in this. So if you have such pain points, how to bring them back, there are tricks that you can do so as to push them and come.
Is there a real data now that shows, the productivity of flexibility workers? Like 3 flexibility workers do the job of 1 office worker. Like, is there a comparison like that, or is there data that
I'm sure
that shows the value of flexibility working outside of just the zeitgeist of people wanting to do it?
Let's go the other way around. You have data for the workers if they work in the factory or not. It's the same.
No.
If you have committed employees, a committed employee is going to work in any environment. We don't have issues now. For example, in the environment that am at the moment is the tech industry, for example. I have been in the manufacturer as well, but in the tech industry, I don't have such an issue. And people that there are ways that you check if an employee works or not during remote. There are the ways that you check the keyboard of the computer, what's the report, how often does check in or check out. If the screens pause, there are many technology tricks that you can do through a laptop so as to check if an employee is working. But this is not the issue. The issue is not for you to be like a policeman and checking if he or she works or not. The issue is for employee to do the extra mile in the end of the day and be committed and be engaged and do the extra mile no matter what. And if one day off or remote working is something that are making work better, even the next day, happy to have it. This is my humble opinion always. No, I'm a huge fan that people resign from their bosses, from their managers. I'm huge fan that people can do the impossible. I have seen that. Nobody can convince me on the other way, because after 20 years with all types of workers, if someone's going to be committed and passionate and engaged in your vision, see he can do the impossible. One of my the most rewarding experience that I had during my HR experience was the period that the time frame, the period that I was HR in the quarries and the factories. For people that never in their life had an HR, and for some reason, the company, the multinational company, decided to have this position and me having a team. I was there for them every day. I was in the quarry, no matter if it was raining, if it was 50 degrees, no matter what. And those people, me, as you know, as a company representative, as an HR from my role, as a manager, I was there with them. And they understood that we are together on this, even if it's a bad weather or a good weather, because, you know, quarries is one of the most difficult jobs to do. Dangerous, with difficult weather conditions. So people were committed and understood that they're not just a boss in the office or an employer in the office in the Netherlands, because it was a multinational company. There are people from the boss that are their dotted lines, and they are there with them every day to do what we'll have to do for the shared vision that we had at the moment. I may be romantic some days, but, you know, I have lived with that. I have messages in my inbox for those humble people and workers during my name day or in my birthdays, because I was there. And when there were difficult times, and the most important thing in the end as a leader is to be courageous and to be transparent with them and to understand all of them, to understand that you give your heart to them and they're going to give it back to you. People don't, as you know, I don't know if you read or hear, Simon Sinek is one of the thought leaders of our. People don't buy what you say. People buy your heart. If you give them their heart, you know, all those are things that they have, people and leaders and thought leaders are sharing is true. It's true. It takes time. You have to be there, but it's an investment. So, Elizabeth, I have to go back to your question, to the trade-offs, and I truly understand that there are many trade-offs in between how to manage spend and how to secure the talent. But definitely, I would say that there are ways to check, because you are the decision maker in the end of the day, who you're going to employ and in your culture. As I have mentioned, I am at the moment in a tech industry. We have a war of talent. There are missing 600,000 positions in the industry that I am at the moment. No matter what, if the person, no matter how tech skilled it is or brilliant or whatever, if she or he doesn't match our culture, it's a no. It doesn't join our company. I don't have the luxury to do that. I say that it's very painful saying that. But if this person doesn't share our shared values and it's ethical and it has high integrity, and you can see that during an interview through the body language, through the how toxic or not toxic is the language, the means, I mean the words, what they're sharing. I'm the tech sector and I have the luxury to say no to a tech savvy person. But we do that. I have the okay from our leaders to do that. And I do that. It's a no. That's why every day, if you don't have the skills, you have to fight this for the skills. And if you don't find the skills, you have to develop the skills. And it's my next slide. Because which are our priorities at the moment? The first thing, okay, we have to enhance the employee experience about, I mean, how they live and experience the environment that we have as employers. But if you see about 3 and 4 points, the most important thing is to invest in their skills. We have to invest in their skills. I understand that it's sometimes it's cost, but it's an investment. And this investment pays a lot in the future. You have to counterbalance and see how much of your budget you're going to invest in developing people. Because I understand that we cannot find the skills. At the moment, as a tech company, 20% of we have 20% in the leadership positions and 80% at the juniors. And what we do, we develop every year 20% of our workshop. We get university leavers. It's a global program. We get university leavers and we train them. 1 year we train them. This is what we're doing, and we invest in their training. And when I mentioned that, Elizabeth, will have to train them and be their mentors, I am one of their mentors, and I train them in terms of professional attitude, in terms of ethical attitude, in terms of previous week, I had one junior lady saying, my friend in this company has 200 euros more than a salary from me. And so, okay, which company does he work? That company. What does this company would do? This company provides tech, but for not a very ethical purpose, let's say, for casinos or for these lotteries, for another function. So, okay, if you wish to go there for 200 euros per month, go. If you feel that you're not motivated staying in our company, with all these ethical leaders that we have, with all these people that invest in you, if you don't feel like staying with us and developing with us, go for 200 euros, but you're not gonna be happy in 1 year from now. Because as you know, Mintzberg is one of the biggest authors. It's you may have read about the theories of motivation in people. There are extrinsic motivators and intrinsic motivators. Extrinsic motivators may be, the benefits, the salaries, a gift, whatever is tangible. Intrinsic motivator is a development, is a dedication, is the inspiring environment that the person may have. And those things make a person stay. That's why I insist a lot in an environment that makes people thrive, and in an environment that makes people feel free to make mistakes, because through mistakes we develop. It's not easy for a leader to say, yes, I had a mistake. I'm mistaken. But if a leader says, yes, I'm mistaken, let's work on this, how to develop that and do the next time. if someone does a mistake and is a, like a junior, he won't be afraid to say, yes, I have made a mistake, but I want to work and develop, because it's a behavior that she has seen from the top leadership team. Another area. So yes, we have to build on this. We have to build on the skills, because the skills are scarce at the moment. And definitely we should change our strategies. I understand, I see your face, Elizabeth. Yes, I totally understand that's a budget, but it's not only budget. You may find internal trainers, people that you spot in your environment that are talented in something, and they can invest. I doubt that you don't have an amazing communicator. I doubt that. Definitely you have one amazing communicator. It's very cost efficient to send one person to a formal class and then do this initially, cascade it down. So definitely you have those people, but you have to spot the skills that you are missing and then match those skills with the people that you may have inside. Then invest on those 5, 2, 3, 10 people, and then transmit the knowledge from those people top down. There are ways that we can do it cost efficient, but that's why I keep saying that you have to see your needs. You have to understand deep down your needs. You have to understand where you want to go, and then be creative how to go there. So moving forward, leadership. Leadership for me, leadership is a capacity. Okay. I keep, from being a kid and then being the HR and being in a leadership position for so many years, I was keep thinking about all these soldiers in the war and all those people that if one says, okay, let's go to the war, let's fight. Or I keep seeing all these new movies in Netflix about, our ancestors, that they were going to, to a war, and say everyone was going. I said, okay, did we give those people a bonus to do something? Do they give them anything, those people that are going to sacrifice their life to go to the war and fight for a company, and not fight for a country or fight for a vision or something? Did we give them anything? No. They had an inspiring leader. They had a leader, but that leader wanted to be a leader. In order to be a leader, the first thing is that say, okay, I want to be a leader. I want to make people be inspired from me. Nelson Mandela or Mother Teresa, did they care about money? Did they just promise money to anyone to follow them? No. They had vision. They were courageous. They were leaders. Everyone, it's another parallel that we say, I don't know how many of you, it's about parentship. Everyone, as a human being, every man or a woman could possibly be a parent in this world. Is everyone willing to be a parent? Do we want to be parents, all of us? Do we understand what it means, parentship, all of us? Because being a parent is a huge accountability in the end of the day, because we are bringing another person, another human being in this world to do something different, to do something inspiring. And if you haven't understand that, you're not probably an inspiring parent, I would say. For me, leadership is like being a parent. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. I could be a leader. I have 10 people in my team at the moment. Only one wants to be a leader. The rest don't want to be a leader. They don't want to be a manager. They like their job as being. That's why for me, we have glorified all this thing about being leadership. Everyone should be. No, we don't want 100 leaders in our companies. We want 5 amazing leaders, but we need soldiers as well. It's the same with the chess. You see how is a chess? It's a black and white, and we have the soldiers, and then we have all the rest of the positions. We need everyone. We need the business analyst. We need someone that's an expert in financial. We need someone to take care of our people. but we don't want, 100% leaders. And this is the first thing that should step back and say, okay, this is not like, it may be a charisma, and you want to be a leader as well, but it's not something that is a dead end. If you don't be a leader in this world, you're like a disaster. You have failed. So spot your leaders, the ones that want to be a leader, want to inspire other people, want to, and this is, leadership. This is the difference for me. What's the difference between a manager? Because you may have lots of managers in your companies, but a leader. We definitely need managers, people that know their job, know how to get the daily routine. They have to solve problems. They have to be action-ready. They have to be day by day informed and tactical. But you don't want a leader in a machine to be insightful or visionary to do the job or influential. It would be nice if, for example, you have to work overtime sometime, and you have resistance from your workers to work overtime. And at that period of time, you may want the leader to inspire them and say, okay, let's all together go work another 8 hours and another 10 hours, because we're going to be successful in the end of the day. But daily, you want managers. And some of them should be leaders for some very important moments in your company life. Yeah, and leaders and managers, but definitely switching from managerial to leadership position for managers, we have to understand that we have to align with the company, and that goals, vision. We have to have measurements. Dawn, you mentioned, how do you measure the productivity of a flexible or non-flexible worker? There are measurements. If you want to measure that, you will find a way, definitely. And decision making. What makes a difference, and what's the difference between a leader is that a leader can take decisions and is willing to take decisions, not just say yes or no. Is willing to say no when it's a no, and is willing to say a bold yes for a new thing that probably some people didn't believe in him. It's a person that is inspiring and making bold decisions. This is a leader. I won't focus on the theories of leadership. There are 5 up to now leadership theories. You may have read all about that, depending on the behaviors, on the traits, on the situation a leader may be, or if we are in a transformational era, we needed leaders after post-COVID era. But the point that I need and I want to stay is about authentic leadership. Authentic leadership, authentic leaders matches with an authentic working environment. It's very interesting if you I don't know if you are aware of Great Place to Work or top employers or all these certifications that many employers strive to get. The first thing that these institutions measure in a company is authenticity, fairness, justice, leadership behavior, and if people are treated well. From anonymous surveys. You cannot build an environment like a great place to work if you don't have this, and you cannot have this if you don't have authentic leaders. This is an equation. So your leaders should want to be leaders, to serve their people. This is the new leaders that we're in search now. People that know why they're in the position that where they are and why they are doing things. For me, this is the most important thing of authentic leadership. It was first mentioned by Bill George in 2003. Simon Sinek has deep dived a lot in that from now on. It makes also a correlation about being a courageous leader. And if you hear some podcasts and listen more on that, new leaders are people that they're coaches, they're facilitators. This is the new word for a leader. people that want to do the transformation through people. And definitely leaderships can be done, and this environment can be achieved if you want to nurture and build strong teams. You know, leadership is not an I sports. If I go back to the slide, I don't know if you spotted the difference from I to we. We have moved from the old era about autocratic leadership or other types of leadership. We are in the era of we leadership. And you understand that even from the letters that a leader writes. So focusing on this, leadership is a team sport. A leader cannot achieve results by himself or by herself. A leader achieves results through the people. And this is the equation that we always say, as Plato say, the sum is always bigger than its parts. If you say 1 + 1 is 2, no, 1 + 1 is not 2 in leadership and in teams. 1 + 1 is more than 3. And this is due to the fact that otherwise we wouldn't have teams in our companies and wouldn't work like teams in our lives. No, Aristotle was the first to say that a human being is a social human being from its genes. That's why people make teams. So by ourselves, we are social and we need to work and bring bigger results through teams. So the new leadership that we're moving now is working towards a common goal and in the end of the day, benefiting as well society, bringing back the notion of our people need to find a purpose. Questions? Okay, we had a couple of minutes on this slide for great cultures, but we can now move on to empowerment delegating, and this is where we need to emphasize that the way to move forward in this war of talent and skills is empower people and empower our managers how to empower their people and how they should delegate. So it's not only about motivating them, saying that they can do their job, but it's about skills development. It's very important to understand where is the skills gap, where is the skills that we are missing, so as to empower people to develop. For example, you have teams, you know your teams. You are the one, their parent, to spot where they should focus their development and be greater the next day. And this is our responsibility to focus on their strengths and their weaknesses. The new trend now is not focusing on the weaknesses. The new trend now is focusing on the strengths, because as you build the strengths, you diminish the weaknesses. And what's the most important thing is that if we develop people and their talents, we forget about the weaknesses, unless it's something important to be delivered on their day-to-day job. And in terms of delegating, it's, I hear all the time that I don't have time to do that. Managers working 12 hours, 14 hours per day, having burnout or cannot controlling the workload. What is happening? Because we're not good at delegating. We're not good at that. And this starts from trust. We have to start trust a little more our people. And we have to test our people if we can trust them, giving sometimes, even if we don't want, more things to do, giving them more responsibility and more accountability, and checking what it could be developed the next time. This is the way that everyone is developing, because in this way, our people grow and we'll grow with them. There are some numbers. I love sharing numbers in all presentations. This is from Mercer. Mercer is one of the well-known companies that do this analytics. And what you see here is that the companies all over the world, yes, have responded that we have to build on AI automation and reskilling. This is the most important thing, upskilling and reskilling of our people. I see that it's 4 o'clock. I would like to share some more things, but I know how is your patience, or if you have any questions that we would like to discuss more.
The truth is that I should have stopped you 10 minutes ago but it was so interesting, everything that you've been sharing so far. And it's the first time from all these years that we're having webinars that I would say that another hour we could use it. There's so much more to be shared and said here. But I do need to respect also the schedule of other people who might be involved in appointments and everything. So sadly, we need to put a stop here, and maybe we can renew our appointment on another day, or even invite you on a different occasion, as we are hosting our next conference in Thessaloniki this October. So why not say something also in person next time?
Lovely to meet you in person, all of you.
I can already sense it, that there is so much more to talk about. I've made so many notes, and I already have questions that I didn't have the chance to ask, but I'm afraid that we need to be punctual on our timeline and release people to do their work, because for some people it's normal working hours right now and they have to start working. So if I may just ask everybody who is available right now to switch on their cameras and take our usual picture as a memento. Thank you, everybody. Nice to see you all. I did make a note just to share with Christina that from what I saw, we already have people from Taiwan, USA, Qatar, France, United Arab Emirates, Brazil, Israel, Panama, Finland, Canada, Croatia, India, Belgium, Bulgaria, Turkey. Sorry if I missed somebody. At least the last time I checked on the screen, these were the countries that were in already. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. It was a superb webinar. Thank you so much, Christina. I really have so much to ask you, and hopefully we can find a way to communicate more things with you on a later stage.
Whenever you wish. The most important thing is to, our people to thrive, and we thrive through them.
Okay. So Andreas, will you be able to put on a happy face and your nice smile?
Okay. Is
Okay.
everyone ready? Okay, great.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Everybody for joining. Have a nice day, everybody.
Thank you, Christina, very much.
Thank you. Thank you
As
so much for listening. Thank you. Have a lovely day.
Thank you for everybody. See you soon.